On tonight's show, a paranormal activity mastermind, Oren Peli, and actor Jesse McCartney irradiate us with their film Chernobyl Diaries. Then, fighting badass Uriah Faber joins us to dissect the gigantic all-heavyweight matchups of UFC 146. Plus, Jessica Chobot interrogates Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones, and the cast of Men in Black 3. And in What to Watch, our experts will break down the stuff you should be watching, from Game of Thrones to TED Talks. Crank the speakers to 11 and settle in. It's Attack coming at you now.
Just to be clear, yeah, no, my back was hurting from carrying my Diablo group all yesterday on my shoulders.
We called it.
I got to level 54, I think, though, which is good.
And you're feeling much better today.
I'm much better today, thank you. I needed 24 hours. I feel fully rested and wonderful. So good to see all of you. Many thanks to you and to Blair for holding down the fort.
Oh, yeah, he held down the fort.
Amazing show. But I'm here. My back is great, so thank you for asking.
Kevin Pereira. This is Kevin Pereira.
Oh, yeah.
In case you didn't know, I'm going to say
Hey, guys, I'm Kevin Pereira. Thank you. It's good to be back. It's great to see you.
Okay, all right. We're coming to you live.
We are, and I'm surprised you're live because you celebrated your birthday last night.
I did.
And I heard that you literally drank a bar dry. That you drank all of the wine available in the bar.
However, there wasn't much white wine to begin with, and all I can drink is white wine because red wine gives me migraines.
Racist.
I had 2 glasses, and then the third one was like this big. She's like, sorry, this is all we have left. So I think it was a good thing because I feel good today.
Oh, good. Okay. Good little birthday buzz, though?
Huh?
Little birthday buzz?
A little birthday buzz.
Okay, good. I'm excited for that. I'm sorry I missed it.
It's okay.
But
you pulled your back out.
I did.
He texted me, I'm so sorry I can't be there tonight. My back is really in pain.
No, those were 2 different thoughts. One was my back's hurting. The second one was the truth, which was I'm sorry that I wouldn't be there for your birthday drinks.
Oh.
But what did I do? I offered to take you out to dinner.
Yes.
I'm a gentleman.
Yes.
And who knows where the night's gonna go? I mean, maybe we'll just take you out. Maybe a little miniature golf. Maybe we'll hit it. Maybe we'll hit it. Hold on, I didn't even say.
Can we bowl?
I was gonna say maybe we'll go to El Torito.
This is just weird.
Right? They make the guac right at your table now.
I love it.
I know.
I love it when they do that.
All right, let's just get into the show, shall we?
Yeah. Let's go around the net.
Okay. First video takes place down by the river.
Oh, I'm sure that will be peaceful.
Okay.
Are you ready? Oh, old Juke done smashed his face, then tumbled into the Mississippi.
Why are you talking like that?
I'm Mark Twaining that video, Kevin. Read a book, all right?
Sorry, I'm not familiar with him. I know his wife's work, Shania. She's fantastic.
She's a good singer.
Very good. Hey, Chris Brown is back in the news again, everybody. Yeah. Now, hold on. This time he's only being chastised for lip syncing, you know, not for punching a lady in the face a bunch of times. Boy, that was embarrassing.
And with all the publicity, it is no surprise that someone made a clip imagining what a celebrity series would be featuring Breezy.
How much singles doing?
Somehow you have 3 in the top 20.
Woo!
Turns out music buyers have short memories.
Remind me to update my Team Breezy page.
If 3 years ago you told me you'd still have fans in 2012, I would have been damn beside myself.
Send a text to Rihanna.
Don't make me do that.
Tell her,
Please, I'd rather be hurled against the wall in a fit of rage.
Tell her I said, hey.
50 million iPhone users and you're the piece of I ended up with.
No!
Wow! Siri has
true.
got a mouth on her.
Well, look, she's the one woman that he can't beat, so that's fine.
Too soon.
Yeah, no, I forgot Team Bleedy is here. Give you some Chris Brown trivia. The most common phrases that Chris Brown says to Siri include, call my lawyer, where's my lawyer, and is my lawyer here yet? We saw the usage data. Those are true. It's all three things are what he says. I'm just, like, come on. It's the one place where Chris Brown's punches can't connect. That's the AT&T network. So everybody's fine. He's set.
Well done.
Thank you. All right, why don't we spruce up the show with some classical music? All right. I mean, why not, right?
Okay. Here are Camille and Kinnerly Kit with their twin harp rendition of the stirring opening theme to HBO's Game of Thrones.
Okay. All right. I actually don't know what you're thinking, but they're more than just a sword and sandal cover band.
Yeah,
There's
they
more.
are. They also conquer the power ballads of 80s classics from the monsters of rock and roll, Guns N' Roses, and Bon Jovi.
You can't rock a harp. You can't do it. If you headbang, you'll slice your face on the string, so all you can do is slowly just gyrate.
Yeah, that's what they were doing. That's how they rock a harp.
Which is fine. I was going to make some disparaging remarks about the ladies themselves, too. But,
no, never, Kevin.
We actually Googled them to find out more. We found out they're both third-degree black belts.
Are they really?
Yes, and former Taekwondo instructors.
Those girls?
That's the truth, yes.
What?
So, nice harping, ladies.
Speaking of the harp, way back on May 13th, 2008, Attack fell in love with a commercial for the BEAMZ with a Z.
Bad. So bad. It was the product was actually way better than what I did with it.
No, this is amazing.
So it's like playing the harp, but with your mind and lights and infrared, whatever. Look, I had like 5 minutes to create this character, so just keep that in mind as I try to figure out what the voice might be while we're recording it. Here's FLACCID DELUXE.
Passionate, stirring, intense, beautiful. These are the sounds of international performing artist FLACCID DELUXE.
I am FLACCID DELUXE, and for years I have studied only the most intense laser instruments under the laser monks of Tibet, until my fingertips became raw with peace and love. And now, it's time to play the light! The light! With your own set of beams, you too can become a virtuoso of the light and learn my most beloved techniques like tickling the ghost, Amber's alert, the finger blast, the Yahtzee, the lover's quarrel, the Lipton dip, and for her pleasure. Take the light! I am deeply regretful that I cannot come to your house and stand behind you and show you these techniques myself. Praise the light.
Order FLACCID DELUXE's Divine Secrets of the BEAMZ DVD set and personalized BEAMZ device.
That guy is so sexy.
Yeah.
Well done, Kevin.
It's been a fun ride, everybody. Still ahead, Blair Herter, Blair Butler, and fighter Uriah Faber. They're going to break down this weekend's UFC 146.
Yesterday, we gave you the chance to win this collection of sci-fi swag along with an original series Star Trek uniform, courtesy of the guys over at theNovoGeek.com. And the winner is Michelle B. from Roselle, Illinois. Congratulations!
Here's the thing. Blair Herter talks a lot about fighting,
Yeah.
but he never actually fights. What the F? You know what I mean?
Right now, he and Blair Butler break down this weekend's heavyweight matchups at UFC 146.
146.
146.
All right, I love that. Let's welcome back to the show Uriah Faber, everyone. And our resident MMA expert, Miss Blair Butler. A lot of great fights this weekend. First, I want to talk about the co-main event. The former heavyweight champ, Cain Velasquez, versus UFC newcomer Antonio Bigfoot Silva. Now, Uriah, Cain is coming off not only his first loss of his career, but a loss on a national, first UFC on Fox, like a huge televised event, and it was in the first minute of the first round. Probably something he's never experienced and never thought he would experience. How's he going to rebound from that loss in this fight?
He's no stranger to competition. The guy's a high-level wrestler. You know, you win, you lose a lot in that sport, and I think he's going to bounce back amazingly and come out with a big win.
All right, and what are his keys to victory in this fight? What does he have to do? What does he have to bring to the table in this fight?
I would say just getting it on the ground. I think, Bigfoot Silva has a jiu-jitsu background, but Cain has spent a lot of time working on that as well, and grappling is his strength. I think he's going to have an edge everywhere, to be honest, with the speed, his power with his striking, and the ability to control someone on the ground. All
right, cool. And then Butler, Sylvia is transitioning over from Strikeforce. He, too, recently suffered a loss against Daniel Cormier, Lafayette, Louisiana. Yeah. Nice job, bro. But anyway, he's coming off a loss as well that, to a lot of people, would hurt their feelings and maybe not motivate them as much in the next fight. What does he need to do in this fight to take on somebody like Cain, who, as Uriah said, is a very dangerous fighter?
Yeah, well, as Uriah mentioned, Bigfoot has a great submission game, great jiu-jitsu. I think he went 3 rounds on the ground with Fabricio Verdum, who's tough and amazing submission expert. But the thing is, he's an enormous heavyweight. He's a little bit slow, and the Cormier fight really exposed some huge holes in his stand-up. Cain Velasquez is such a great boxer and a great striker. I think that unless Silva can get this to the ground, and even straddle and TKO him, which against Fedor was kind of how he won that fight. I think it's going to be a tough night for Silva.
All right, so I'm assuming you're picking Cain in this fight.
I am indeed.
All right, so Cain for Butler. Yeah. And Uriah, it sounds like you are leaning towards Cain as well.
Yeah, I think he's got the edge. It's a fight where anyone could win, but he's definitely the favorite in my opinion.
All right, man, so Cain and Cain. Congratulations, you both agree on this. No animosity here. And for the main event, it will be a clash of the Titans as current title holder Junior Dos Santos takes on Frank Mir for the heavyweight championship. According to their official measurements, they're fairly even in size, but Mir definitely could weigh in much larger than Dos Santos. Dos Santos is probably the most terrifying heavyweight when it comes to throwing hands. I think even all the other heavyweights say that about him, with most of his wins coming via knockout. Mir, on the other hand, is equally scary on the ground, with the majority of his wins coming via nasty submissions. Do yourself a favor, do not watch his last fight. It's disgusting. So, these are two guys that, are, again, have very different game. Butler, Dos Santos is undefeated since coming in the UFC. He's got a ton of momentum behind him right now, and he is the champion. So how's he going to handle his first title defense against a guy that, up until maybe a month or two ago, he wasn't even preparing to fight?
Well, look, the UFC heavyweight title has been a little bit of a hot potato lately. Sure. It's passed through a lot of hands, but I actually think Junior Dos Santos is going to defend that belt, defend it well, because he's got great boxing. In fact, he's probably got the best boxing in the heavyweight division. His takedown defense is pretty spectacular. I think only Shane Carwin managed to take him down very briefly in their 3-round affair. And, Dos Santos has just looked phenomenal. In fact, we've never really seen his ground game, but he trains with the Nogueiras, so we know he's got a solid ground game. I think his key to victory here is that everyone sort of thinks Frank Mir's chance is on the ground. So if he does drop Frank Mir, he's got to be careful, because guys who swarm Frank Mir on the ground when they drop him, Nogueira, Brock Lesnar in their first fight, they wind up tapping out very quickly. So I think he's got to be aggressive on the feet, but also cautious once he drops the guy.
And you're right. On the other hand, Dos Santos is a guy who
You know, again, people don't really know much about his ground game, but they're very aware of his stand-up. So you have to assume that Mir is training to combat that. What else is he going to bring into this fight? How is Mir approaching this fight?
Frank's a big, strong guy. He's actually really intelligent as well. So I think he's going to be trying to get it to the ground and have some creative ways to do it. But he considers himself a striker as well. His father's a striker. He, you know, that was his base was before he started jiu-jitsu was in striking. So I think he could weather the storm for a little bit and really look for the takedown.
So assuming that he does take it to the ground, who wins this fight?
I gotta say, I'm giving Dos Santos the edge in the fight.
All right, okay.
But if it does go to the ground, that's Mir's fight in the ground.
All right, cool. And Butler, what about you?
I'm going to go Dos Santos.
Santos. All right. For all the reasons that you said before.
I mean, he's just so dominant on the feet, so we'll see.
I personally would like to see it go to the ground because I'd like to see what he does have on the ground.
It would be exciting.
Unfortunately, proving yourself to a guy like Frank Mir on the ground is probably not the best way to do that, but it would be pretty cool. Now, Uriah, we're really happy to have you here today. We know you're incredibly busy. Anybody that's been watching The Ultimate Fighter knows you're currently in the middle of training for a fight, but you also have a book that is just out in stores this week. Tell us a little bit about that as well. Thank you, Hand.
There it is.
Nowhere. This book right here. Can we get a close-up on that?
That's
right there.
my book,
This
Uriah Faber, The California Kid, Laws of the Ring, and it's something different from a mixed martial arts perspective. It's a little bit of the fight world, but a lot about just things I've learned over time and thought would be cool to let the world know. And, you know, people have all been ecstatic about the book. They're all loving it, and I'm proud of it, man. It's been a long process.
Nice.
And before we let you go, I have to ask, the craziest, or one of the craziest stories in the book is about this fight that you got into in Bali that was like a fight for your life against how many dudes?
There was about 12 guys there, yeah. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was you versus all of them, right?
Well, it was me running from all of them and fighting on occasion, but yeah, I survived. It was very scary, though.
Oh my gosh.
And to clarify, this is a non-sanctioned fight, you guys.
Yes,
This wasn't televised. This was not on the internet. This is not what he's doing.
Don't try it at home.
Yeah. Well, you can see that story and many more in his new book, which, like I said, is in stores right now. The Laws of the Ring, in stores now. Go check it out. Uriah, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
Blair Butler, thank you for being here as well. And good luck in your fight on July 7th. But before that, UFC 146 this Saturday in Vegas, 10 p.m. Eastern, only on pay-per-view.
All the news you need to know. Feed.
Hi, I'm Sarah Underwood. I know, it's so exciting. It's Thursday, May 24th, and here are your top stories. Ever since a quote emerged from the Steve Jobs bio saying that the late visionary had finally cracked television, we've heard a lot of whispers about an ITV. But it turns out Apple's Jonathan Ive and new head honcho Tim Cook might have something even bigger up their turtleneck sleeves. Talking to The Telegraph, Ive, the designer of the iMac, iPod, and iPad, said that if there was one product he wanted to be remembered for, it would be what he's working on right now. It's a top secret product he describes as the most important and best work he's ever done. At the same time, Fortune recently spoke with a few lucky executives that were invited to Apple's campus by Tim Cook, who was showing off the company's near future roadmap. Now, after the visit, one exec said he was blown away by what he saw. So, what is Apple really working on? A tech analyst suggests they're not developing an iTV, but rather an iHub, a post-PC central command for your home that transcends television. A screen with touch, gesture, voice, and iPad control that can fit in any room in the house and serve as an entertainment system or even a command center for home automation. Do you have a headache yet?
Yes.
Yes, that's the feeling you get when you're having your mind blown. Yes. But if there is one company known for exploding your brain, it's Apple. So now President Obama is channeling Silicon Valley by making it easier for you to get the information and services you need from the government on your mobile device. Yesterday, the president ordered that all major federal agencies must have at least 2 apps available on phones within the next year. He said, quote, Americans deserve a government that works for them anytime, anywhere, and on any device. The move has been generally well received, though some skeptics have voiced concern over the bandwidth that needs to sustain such a product. Either way, it's definitely a cool attempt to connect the sometimes slow-moving government to the fast-paced 21st century. And finally, what would you say if I told you that Iron Man has a real-life counterpart? No way! Say hello to Emile Larray, aka Tony Stark in real life. Photos of his superhero-esque journey recently surfaced, and they're amazing, you guys. Back in 1993, the Frenchman was driving through the African desert when his car hit a rock and became undrivable. Instead of abandoning the vehicle, he spent 12 days disassembling it using a hacksaw. Then he used the parts to create a Mad Max-like motorcycle, which he rode out of the barren landscape. We can only assume he then muttered some witty joke before driving off into the sunset. But seriously though, somebody find this guy and give him a job at DARPA STAT? How cool! I am Sarah Underwood. You have just been fed, and now back over to Kevin and Candace.
Thank you, Sarah Underwood.
You're welcome, you guys.
Best.
We are 1 week away from E3.
Whoa!
And G4 is the only network broadcasting from the floor of E3.
We're the ones who put the giant sheet on the convention center every year, just so we can take it off.
We will have world premieres, exclusives, and in-depth looks at Assassin's Creed 3, Borderlands 2,
Borderlands 2.
a new God of War game, and more.
Oh, so many good things. Join us for breaking news, game demos, and commercial-free press conferences. Game prom, that's what we like to call it. Starts June 4th, so log on to g4tv.com/E3 to look at pictures from past conventions. It's great. They're like video clips, but they don't move.
Still ahead, the star and writer of the Chernobyl Diaries.
I'm really hoping they don't skip on the diary part. That's like a good diary entry. One. The filmmaker behind Paranormal Activity decided to loosen things up with his new movie. It's about lingering terror at Chernobyl.
I love the smell of radiation in the evening. No, you never get out of the car. You stay in there and stay huddled all night. Please welcome Jesse McCartney and the writer and producer of Chernobyl Diaries, Lauren Kelly. Oh, that looks really good. I don't like scary, gory movies, but I love psychological thrillers, so I'm really excited to see it.
Thank you.
Now, what inspired you to make a movie about Chernobyl?
Well, I was just browsing the internet one day, just goofing around, and I ran into some photo blogs of people who went to the city of Pripyat, which is basically the abandoned town next to Chernobyl. And after the disaster, people basically evacuated overnight, and they left like this very eerie, abandoned ghost town that's been taken over by nature, and it was just amazing to see this place. There's nothing else like it in the world, and I thought, you know, it was very sad and fascinating and creepy and the perfect setting for a horror movie.
Now, do people actually give tours there, or is it completely abandoned?
Well, in the last few years, the radiation levels have actually gone down enough, so it's safe to go there if you know where to go. If you go with a licensed tour guide, they can take you to the safe places. They have a Geiger counter, so they know where to go and where not to go. So you can actually go there, and for short periods of time, you'll be safe.
Although I specifically remember the director telling us there was a spectrum of answers when they went over there to research whether or not we could shoot in Chernobyl, and there was a spectrum of answers. There's like, the one scientist said, yeah, you know, you could go there for up to, what was like 72 hours and, you know, without any harm. And then there was a guy on the right side who was like, don't go there ever, you'll die.
Well, there's one theoretical issue of little dust particles that may be radioactive, and you kick around and then you inhale them. That's not really good, but...
So how do you walk? I mean, you're going to kick up some dust here and there.
I guess you would, you know,
have a mask?
A mask, but actually by the time we were ready to shoot the movie, they closed it down for some reason, so they wouldn't let us in.
For some reason.
Ironically enough, just like our plot, and so we couldn't shoot there, and we had to shoot in different locations.
Oh, that's fascinating. Now, Jesse, you've done a lot of family-friendly television movies over the years. What made you decide to take the jump to the dark side?
Well, you know, I actually initially got involved with this project because of the director, Brad Parker. He and I had previously worked on a pilot a year prior to the filming of Chernobyl, and he called me and he said, you know, I'm working with Oren Peli. Would you be interested in maybe coming in and reading for this project? And I said, sure. You know, send me a script. And he goes, well, there's no script. I said, well, what do you mean? He goes, yeah, well, you know, if you take on this role, there won't be a script.
Was it just all improv?
All of it, and this is basically why I became so interested, and part of the allure of the project was the fact that for actors, the auditioning process was very interesting. We did a lot of improv in and out of the room with, you know, a bunch of different actors and actresses, and eventually we got our group together, and it happened sort of like very quickly, and all of a sudden we were flying to Serbia and we were making a movie. And
Serbia is where you filmed it?
Yeah, Belgrade, Serbia, and Budapest, Hungary.
Now, when you're filming the movie, were you actually scared out of your mind? Because if it's all improv, then I would think that I would just be like, ah! Ah! Like left and right, screaming.
I mean, there were moments, and I know there were moments within, you know, while we were filming where Oren or the director or someone would pull something out of a hat we wouldn't know. They'd pull some sort of trick on us to sort of scare us while we were on set. And just being in these locations, you could hear a pin drop, you know?
Yeah.
It was kind of eerie. The filming process was very eerie.
So, did you die? Come on.
Yeah, let's just give it away.
Okay, but like, is there a 50% chance or higher?
I'm not answering this question.
Okay, I tried. Real quick, before we have to go, is there anything you can tell us about Paranormal Activity 4?
No.
Come on, just like something.
The only thing I can say is it's going to be out October 19th.
Oh, so it's already been filmed?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was going to say, if you're looking for like a little southern brunette, you know, I know somebody that would be happy to do it.
I'll keep you in mind.
Thank you so much for being here, guys. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Thanks to Oren Peli and Jesse McCartney. Chernobyl Diaries is in theaters tomorrow. Go check it out. I am.
I'm not going to make out with you.
Hey! Hey, G4TV.com is giving away a console a day until E3, courtesy of the all-new Ford Focus ST.
Ooh, today we're giving away an Xbox 360. So get online, kids. Go to G4TV.com/road to E3 to register. Just make sure no one else is using the internet at the same time. You don't want to kick them off.
No.
Stay tuned. We'll tell you what to watch, including Game of Thrones on HBO Go.
It's hard out there for an IMP.
This portion of Attack of the Show is brought to you by Chernobyl Diaries. Experience the fallout in theaters tomorrow. Here's the thing, video is streaming at you from everywhere. The Hulu wants your eyes, so does VOD, iTunes, and I hear there's a thing called YouTube now. What? We're going to help you sort through it all. Here's what to watch. Please welcome the twisted filmmaker whose work you've seen on the big screen with Super and on your computer screen with PG porn. James Gunn is here. And a guy who watches bad films so you don't have to, Rotten Tomatoes editor-in-chief, Matt Atchity is here.
Thank you.
Pleasure to have you here, gentlemen.
We're happy to be
Thanks
here.
for breaking the champagne over the bow of this beautiful baby we call What to Watch.
And Matt says he's going to go delete some of my bad reviews on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, that's very kind.
Hey, 20 bucks is 20 bucks.
You run a scandal much like Yelp, huh? Look, there's some bad reviews there. We can put them on page 5 for a nominal fee. It's a good racket.
It keeps me eating.
Now, one thing that you guys don't rate on Rotten Tomatoes, which I love to endlessly, are TED Talks. I try to at least watch a talk a week. Sometimes I would start a whole day off with a TED Talk every morning. I love these things, and I just kind of want to point them out to our viewers if they haven't seen them. I think they're incredible. You can learn everything from how data mining works. Rob Reed has a great talk that you're seeing there about the music industry and how they overinflate their numbers and sue people for billions of dollars, and they're essentially evil. But it's like 10 to 15 to 20-minute just little slices of life where you learn 10 things you didn't know about the orgasm. Right. You can see that right there.
I don't believe there's 10 things I don't know. Oh.
There's a lot I don't know about orgasm.
I found out you can.
I know everything about the male orgasm.
I found out you can have them without paying for them.
I have a question.
Fascinating.
I have a question for you about TED Talks, Kevin.
Please.
Like, if you're extremely stupid, which I am, and you have a very short attention span for anything without large breast or sea monsters in it. Is TED Talks the right thing for me?
They actually have a section dedicated to large-breasted sea monsters.
Really?
That juggle chainsaws while there's explosions going on. That's it.
Then I think TED Talks
No,
are
I think,
for me.
look, you know, the TED Talks are, they are a little higher brow, but look, you got Bill Gates releasing mosquitoes during one to show people how dangerous malaria can be. So you watch a room filled with millionaires and aspiring millionaires running for their lives because there's a mosquito outbreak.
No, but you know, there are some more accessible ones too, right?
Sure.
Like there's a great couple of talks from Adam Savage of Mythbusters fame.
Yes.
Andrew Stanton from Pixar does a really good one. I've seen one from Tandy Newton. So, you know, if you're interested, you know, there's stuff from game developers in there. There's, you know, a lot of really interesting
These are all the
stuff
ones
in
for
there.
stupid people like me, is what you're saying.
Yes,
They're
exactly.
easily accessible, yes. Yeah, the barrier to entry is
Newton,
minimal.
right? Yeah,
I think there's even one on the game developer front. A gentleman gave a talk about how Blizzard data mines and looks at how people play their games, so they know the exact optimization of a game world at any given time. They know how many characters need to be on the screen, how many items you need to get, how much gold something needs to give you to keep the player motivated to play more. That's fascinating.
Wow, that
to me.
is pretty cool.
It's not, you know, it's not breasts and lasers and explosions, but you can find that on the rest of the internet. That's everywhere else. So that's why I like TED Talks. But what do you suggest?
Now I have a show that I really, really love. You can watch it on, you know, I know you can watch it on YouTube. I think you can buy some of the series on DVD, PAL, and on VHS. But it's Louis Theroux's Wild Weekends. This is a TV show that was on BBC Two from, I think, 1998 to 2000. There were 3 full seasons of it. And every episode was basically Louis Theroux, this charming guy, going on a different weird weekend where he did, you know, examine some fringe subculture, whether it be racist, this, you know, racist, you know, little girl rock band named Prussian Blue, or Thai mail order brides that we're watching right here now, or all sorts of amazing groups of people, a survivalist, Indian gurus.
Right.
And it's
So
just,
Louis would just immerse himself in this world and say, here we go.
yeah, for anybody like me that's interested in fringe subcultures, it's
Sure.
the most fascinating thing. And Louis Theroux is really, he's one of the greatest interviewers.
He's not on my radar. What's his style?
He's a British guy. He's kind of like a gentle Howard Stern. He really ingratiates himself to people. Even when he's talking to these awful, you know, racist or these other people, he somehow gets in with them, gets them to trust him. There's Prussian Blue right there, the little racist girls.
Oh, they're my ringtone. I'm very familiar with them.
And, but that, yeah, he really ingratiates himself to people. I have a massive man crush on him. He's the kind of guy that I want to take under my arm, make him my little buddy, take him through a dark part of the city, and then protect him from bullies.
Okay. I didn't know how this. I don't know. I want to take him into a dark alley and make him a man. Yeah, I didn't know where that was going.
There's other stuff I want to do
At least
to
you're
him, too.
protecting
I know
him. That's
Louis
fine.
Theroux. Yeah, he's a sexy guy.
Matt, what are you obsessed with these days? What should we be watching?
Game of Thrones. I'm hooked on Game of Thrones. Fantastic show. It's one of the best examples of what's being done on TV right now. You know, say what you will about things happening in movies, which is really my bread and butter. TV is where it's at, and Game of Thrones is a great example of what you can do with a big budget and you're not worried about ratings. HBO's model being a subscription model, they just want people to be, you know, subscribing to the channel, and they present this great show. It's really good. It's really dramatic.
Are you in love with it because you read the books and now the books are coming to life, or?
I read the books. Yes,
Okay.
I've read the books, and I like seeing the books come to life. But my wife watches it too, and she hasn't read any of that. You know, it's a great story, and I have to give props out to Peter Dinklage, who's the lead.
The man.
He's the man. He's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, and he really carries the show. But you've got this great supporting cast, not the least of which is Lena Headey. People might remember from 300. It's great stories, you know, some good gratuitous nudity from time to time.
Who's your favorite character? Tyrion?
I would have to say probably Tyrion.
I'm a Theon Greyjoy man. I like Theon Greyjoy. He's a bastard like myself. He's weak. He's a great character.
I have to
love
give
him on
you
the
great
show.
trivia for Alfie Allen, who plays that. Because Alfie Allen is the sister of Lily Allen. Or, I'm sorry, the brother of Lily Allen.
Right.
Lily Allen
That's a greater piece of trivia if he's actually
exactly.
a sister.
Who knew?
Yeah. But,
and Lily Allen has a song on one of her albums called Alfie, which is about her brother that smokes way too much weed. And that's this guy. And so those people out there are like, oh, wait a minute.
Game of Thrones also does have large breasts, and it doesn't have sea monsters, but dragons. They're kind of like
That's pretty close.
land sea monsters.
Yeah, the sea monsters that walk or fly.
I'm into it, yeah.
Well, now maybe I'm convinced. Truth be told, I fell asleep during the title sequence. Like, it wasn't.
But that's why God gave us fast forward.
That is it. That is it. Are you watching? I know, there's 2 episodes left.
There's
for the
2
season?
episodes left.
I heard season 2 from. Now, this is from fans of the show. I heard season 2 was not as exciting as season 1.
I think they're crazy. Season
Really?
2 is so much better than season 1. I think as as a writer and a filmmaker, I think that season 1, there were a lot of scenes where people were in rooms talking about battles off screen, and it was very stilted at times. I think season 2 has been wonderfully dramatic, wonderfully visual.
It's still a lot of talking, but at least they're having sex while they're talking.
It's just more visual.
There's been some more action in this one, and then it's going to get even more. The last 2 episodes that are coming up, there's lots of action. They've upped their budget. We've got some big battle scenes coming up, and it's going to turn the tide for a lot of characters. So when we get to season 3, people that were kind of on top are now really going to have things going wrong for them.
And very quickly, I mean, we're totally out of time, but I love that people still get excited. They're like, well, it's on HBO Go now, so you can see it on your iDevice or a tablet or on a computer, and that's cool. But how far are we until that statement means nothing anymore? Like, how much time has to pass until media is just available everywhere because it's supposed to be, and that's how people want it? Is that happening soon?
I think a couple years, and I think it's one of the reasons why TV is doing so much, is so much cooler today than movies. It's because it's a lower risk-reward ratio. You watch a couple hours of a TV show. If you like it, you can watch 30 hours, and if you don't, you don't have to watch it anymore. A movie, every time out, you're taking another risk. So TV is really, it's just doing dynamite stuff.
I think it's a generational shift, too. I think that there's those of us who are somewhat older who remember the difference between movies and TV and watching something on the computer. My 8-year-old watches things on the phone, he watches things on the computer, he watches the TV. He just says, I want to watch a show, and he doesn't see the difference. There's kids that are older, teenagers, that's the way they think. So I think that we're, probably 8 or 9 years away from that level of singularity, call it, but that's where it's going to happen.
So it's up to the Beliebers. It's up to
exactly.
It's up to the Bieber generation. I'm going to go hang myself. James Gunn, Matt Atchity, thank you guys so much for joining us. I hope you guys find what to watch. Stay tuned. Jessica Chobot, she gets neuralized for knowing too much about Men in Black. Stick around. On the next Attack of the Show.
It's Kevin's final week, and we'll say goodbye with special live guests including Joe Rogan, Evil Dead legend Bruce Campbell, and Kevin's one-on-one exit interview with Jerry Springer. We'll take a look back at our favorite moments from Kevin's years at G4 with special messages from Allison Hayslip, Olivia Munn, Zach Selwyn, Sarah Lane, Will O'Neill, and a live performance by DJ Mike Realm.
Coming up next week on AOTS.
JC checks out J&K for MIB 3.
Sweet.
After a 10-year hiatus, Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones are back in black and saving the world from evil aliens for the 3rd time in Men in Black 3. MIB 3 finds Will Smith's Agent J making up for lost time by going back to the year 1969 to help Josh Brolin's young Agent K keep the summer of love safe for hippies. Men in Black 1 and 2. With 3, you want it to be its own individual movie,
absolutely.
but then you also kind of want it to tie into this MIB universe.
There are going to be people, a big portion of the audience that wasn't even born when the first movie came out. It was 15 years ago, so it needed to be new and it needed to be interesting. The real stroke was Josh Brolin and then the time jump back to 69.
Last chance, who are you and what do you know?
Really, we need to go right now.
All right.
How often did you watch the first 2 Men in Black movies in order to get your Agent K impersonation down?
Well, I watched the first one quite a few times. I watched a lot of younger Tommy Lee, movies, but I didn't watch the second one a lot. I found it to be different. It was Tommy's cadence in the first one is a lot of fun to listen to, and that's the one that I wanted to try and match. Oh man, this coffee tastes like dirt.
What do you expect? It's
ground this morning. Oh?
And the first time he opened his mouth on set, he got a standing ovation. People applauded. It is such an uncanny performance.
I've always thought of you as more of a dramatic actor. What kind of inspiration do you get doing more comedy stuff?
It's a lot of fun to make these movies. Comedy's hard. Death is easy. Comedy's hard.
Comedy is hard.
Keep it simple, Slick. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Agent K.
When the ball started rolling on Men in Black 3, what was some of the inspiration that you had for 1969 Aliens and the retro look?
My inspiration was Rick Baker. Rick Baker was the guy who created the aliens on all 3 movies. And Rick said, you know, we're going back to '69, and Men in Black headquarters is going to be more retro, and all the props are going to be more retro. I think the alien should be more retro, too, and I thought it was a great idea.
Whoa! You know, I don't have no problem pimp slapping the shiznit out of Andy Warhol. What?
Do you think that it was an easier time or a more difficult time for aliens back in 1969?
For aliens, for everybody. You know, it was almost like, what's great about going back to that time is society, normal American society, or, you know, society at large, seemed more alien than the actual aliens. Do you know what I mean? It was an experimental time. It was with drugs and the sex and the this, and they broke the kind of gray facade of the 1950s. So it was a kind of a great time.
What happens to Agent K that forces Agent J to travel back into time?
He was killed in a parallel universe.
So let's say you just told me something that was a deep, dark secret, and you need to
Yes.
neuralize me.
Yes.
What is the story that you would give me in order for me to forget what you had previously said?
You know, I'm the best man you've ever known, and you'll just never stop loving me. Don't even worry about it.
Here come the Men in Black, back in time to save the future.
I'm not gonna make out with you either.
Thanks, Chobot.
Thank you very much. Men in Black 3 opens this Friday, everybody. So now you know what you're doing.
Yay! All right, now it's time for today's epic fail. Quad runners are vehicles designed for all types of terrain.
Well, in theory, they are.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, that's physics. Hey, it's fine. Just get down to it. Just press the X button. It'll flip right over. You hop on it. You're good to go. Yeah, don't worry. But they were eaten by wolves. They didn't make it back because
They were eaten by wolves?
Well, they didn't have an easy escape. It's okay.
Let's go to the Twitter wall.
Let's do that.
Link 1734. I really enjoyed the brand spanking new segment, What to Watch.
Hey, look at that.
I'm excited to see more in the future.
Yeah, that was.
What's gonna happen with that?
Well, that was my first and last What to Watch, everybody. So thank you.
It's a great segment. Where's it gonna go?
It's going to go in the more than capable hands of yourself or whoever is coming in to guest host.
I would love to
afterward.
do that one, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's
watch
going
a
to
lot
be
of TV.
It's going to be a fun segment. What are you watching right now? What would you recommend on What to Watch?
Gossip Girl. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I can't wait for The Walking Dead to come back, though.
Yeah,
So
I
excited.
finally finished Sons of Anarchy.
How was
I finally
it?
got around to it.
I've
It's
never seen that.
great.
Yeah.
Did it for charming. It's so good.
What'd you say?
I did it for charming.
I don't know. What
You have
that
to see
means.
it.
I don't know what that means.
I'm not good at it either, but it's a great, great series. It's got motorcycles and pew pew guns. Hey, thanks to Sarah Underwood, Jessica Chobot, James Gunn, Matt Atchity, Oren Pelly, and Jesse McCartney.
And to you for coming back.
And your